Hey everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for bearing with me my technical challenges because apparently I did go live on YouTube just like I thought I should, but not in the way I thought I should. So let's get this show on the road. Today I am trying something new. And what I'm trying is I usually on Thursdays do a throwback to a previous writing that I've done a couple of years ago, or a couple of months ago, or a decade ago in some cases. And today I thought instead of just posting it on YouTube and my podcast like I usually do, that instead I would try hosting sort of a live discussion. I would share the content with y'all and take questions and comments and get feedback on how all of this works with a little bit more engagement than you might get from just listening to it on the podcast. So for those of you who are interested, the podcast is podcast.datingkinky.com. I am Miss Nookie. Hi, my pronouns are she, hers, and I am the founder of datingkinky.com. And today I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to get super duper positive on y'all today. But not so much in a Pollyanna, like pie in the sky sort of way, but more in a practical, straight talking sort of way. In a way that comes from having made a change in my own life some time ago, and therefore speaking from experience, because sometimes I really feel like we need more practical ways towards positive expression, both in the kink and fetish and non-monogamy world, and in what I might consider our vanilla lives. So today I'm going to go back to a cast that I did way back when, that is all about how worthy you are as a human. Just by existing, you are worthy. And I want to kind of drive the point home that I'm not saying that you're worthy because of, well, here, let's just go directly into it. You are worthy. You are. Some people are going to tell you that you need to change to be worthy. Okay. I disagree with this. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of friendship. You are worthy of compassion. Period. End of story. I'm not going to debate this. Not at all. That said, you may not be communicating your worthiness to the people in your life. You may not be communicating that worthiness to the people you want love, friendship, and compassion from. Some of you may not be communicating that worthiness to anyone right now. And you being worthy, me saying you are worthy, and you communicating that worthiness to others is an important distinction. And because it's not necessarily about fixing you. You do not need to change to be worthy. You may need to fix or change your processes, how you express who you are, how you express and show people your worthiness. Does that make sense? Are you following along with me on this one? Because you, as a human, I'm guessing, have a lot of really amazing qualities to you. And sometimes we have a hard time making those qualities apparent to others. We stumble over our insecurities. We stumble over our words. We pull back and don't give as much because we are afraid to open up, to be vulnerable, to share that much of ourselves, to look stupid, right? Or incompetent, or whatever it is. And it's not because of who we are. It's because of the behaviors and processes that we've learned over our lifetime, right? So let's talk about our behaviors and processes. Number one, your choices. So when I say that you may not be communicating that you're worthy to the people you want love, friendship, and compassion from, or maybe to anyone, when I talk about your choices, I'm talking about who you are choosing to request that love, friendship, and compassion from. Because there may be people out there who are not compatible with you. No. In fact, I'm going to say there are people that are incompatible with you. Period. End of story. There are people who are incompatible with me, right? And I know that I'm eminently worthy of love, compassion, friendship, amazing orgasms, whatever, good sex, fabulous things. And yet, I would say that the majority of people I interact with online and off on a daily basis are not compatible with me. So it doesn't matter how much I might show how worthy I am, because it's not going to fit with who they are as people, right? Are you all with me on that? Shoot me a chat note, shoot me some hearts or some 100s, right? Because who you choose to show you love, friendship, and compassion, and who you choose to show your love, friendship, and compassion to matters. In fact, those of you who follow me probably noticed maybe a week or two ago, I wrote something about fix 99% of your basic bitch relationship troubles with this one simple thing. And that one simple thing is partner selection. Who you choose to be in your life. Now, you can't choose who's going to check you out at the grocery store, and that's fine. You know, they're not the people you need to necessarily be worthy to. But you can choose the people that you surround yourself with, right? Okay, so your processes. That was number one, your choices. Number two, your approach. How you approach each person often sets the tone for your ongoing relationship, right? As they say, you never get a second chance to make a first impression, right? That said, okay, let's say you decide to approach somebody and you want to make a good first impression. How do you do that? The first thing I would suggest is approach them as if they are worthy of love, friendship, and compassion. Give it to others for them to recognize that you are also worthy. That's one of the ways that you can communicate that. And by saying approach somebody like they are worthy of love, friendship, and compassion, let me be clear, because sometimes I think people get this confused. That doesn't mean approaching them genitals first, offering them sexual favors or the opportunity to do kinky things to you, or, the high honor of being your next ex-wife, right? Or husband or spouse. So, foot first, love, friendship, and compassion. Love is kind of hard to start off with, right? When it comes to meeting new people. So, how about friendship and compassion first? Okay. Processes. Cobalt says in the YouTube chat, or even heart on sleeve first, right? I talked to somebody just a day ago who was asking, they said that they wanted to connect with this local person, and they were a little nervous, and we had a conversation, and the conversation was, tell them, hey, this thing you invited me to is not my deal. I am sort of a one-on-one person. I would love to get together for coffee or a drink and get to know you as a person, you and I, and see if there's any, connection and chemistry there. I said, be direct, be honest, and be authentic, because A, you are providing them compassion, potential friendship, and potential love. With a direct statement like that, you are honoring them with your truth. And here's the biggest thing. If they're not interested, it's okay, because it wasn't going to happen anyway. You know that you're worthy of love, friendship, and compassion, so you just move on to another choice, right? So your processes: 1, who do you choose to offer these things to? 2, your approach. Which takes us naturally into number 3, your communication. And that's a biggie, because it's not only how you communicate, but what you communicate, right? So in that case, I was suggesting to that person that they communicate that they are interested, that they are hoping to make a more personal connection, and to do it in such a way that honors the other person's right to choose, honors the other person's sense of self, and honors the other person's consent. So I've actually had people, and this happens to me maybe not daily, but definitely several times a week on like FetLife or other, connection and social sites, where somebody will send me a message and they'll say, I want to get to know you. And that's it, right? I want to get to know you. Okay, is that approaching me with friendship? Is that approaching me with compassion? To me, that says that they are telling me exactly what they want, and then I'm expected to respond in the positive to that. Rather than saying, hey, I read your profile. You seem like a fascinating person. I would love to see if we could find a time to get together and connect. Right? So it's not just what they're communicating. In that case, I want to get to know you is definitely telling me something. It's communicating that they want to get to know me. But how they communicated that matters. Cobalt asks on the YouTube chat, what if I don't always feel worthy? You don't have to feel worthy all of the time. Like I said, I'm not going to be talking at this from a Pollyanna, uber positive perspective. Not going to do that. Not everybody is going to feel happy all of the time. Not everybody is going to feel worthy all of the time. Not everybody is going to, feel in love all of the time once you find those connections that really matter. They're feelings. They're emotions. We need to experience these things. Not feeling worthy does not change the fact that I'm giving you today. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of friendship, and you are worthy of compassion. How you feel is going to ebb and flow over time. And some of us may always feel worthy, right? We got that. This is a skill. My skill, I'm a 10 out of 10 at feeling worthy. Hell yeah. Woohoo. Done. Check that off the list. We're going to have other areas where we ebb and flow, and we go through the roller coaster of emotions and feelings and so on and so forth. Right? But regardless of how we feel, we can take it to the bank that we are worthy. Okay, so we've talked about the processes. We've talked about your choices. Who are you choosing to ask for love, friendship, and compassion from? Your approach, how you approach the people that you choose to ask for love, friendship, and compassion from. 3, your communication. How do you communicate to the people that you've chosen, and what do you communicate? Now, let me stop here, because in the original article, I talked about, how you communicate is important and what you communicate is important, which is often dependent on. And then I go into step 4. But I'd like to pause for a second and say, before I go into 4, communication is not just the words you say, right? It's everything. It's how you blend those words into a thought process. It's how you react to other people engaging with you. If you're in person, it's your body language and your smile and, your tone of voice, right? So what you communicate can be entirely different based on how you say it. So let's go back to that previous example I gave you, where somebody wrote to me, many somebodies wrote to me and said, I want to get to know you, right? When that is all there is as a first message in an online forum, it gives me no context, right? So I imagine that all they really cared about in that message was telling me what they want. Can you see that? Like, I want to get to know you. How does one even respond to that? Unless you're going to go overboard and encourage them, right? Oh, yes, please do get to know me. What if, though, we were in person and they were standing, next to somebody that I know, and we were having this amazing, spirited conversation, and they caught my eye and said, you know what? I would love to get to know you better. Same words, communicated something completely different. So, your choices, your approach, your communication, not only how you communicate, but what you communicate, which is often dependent on number 4, your habitual thinking patterns. Okay. And by habitual thinking patterns, let's go back to that example. So in the first example, somebody felt like what they needed to do was right away tell me they wanted to know me. Whereas in the second example, that person spent some time paying attention to what I was saying and how I was engaging with others, and then caught my attention and let me know they found me interesting. Right? Like, big difference. Because in the first one, the habitual thinking pattern was, I want that, I'm going to say so. In the second one, the habitual thinking pattern, or at least the thinking pattern that showed, was this person is interesting and I want to let them know. Now, when I talk about changing habitual thinking patterns and how we think about other people and how we connect with other people through the idea of love and friendship and compassion, some people have said to me that, but if I change that, then I'm really changing who I am. And if I'm changing who I am, then I'm not really worthy, because I have to change myself in order to get that love, friendship, and compassion. Au contraire, mon frère. Because to me, and hopefully to you, changing my mind is not changing who I am as a person. Because if that were true, then every time that I thought something one way and then learned better and grew as a human, I would be changing who I am and not just reacting to information that I'm given, and hopefully creating a new and better understanding and engagement with reality. Does that make sense? It's changing how you habitually think about things. Like, for example, if I say to you today, you are worthy, and somehow you think, well, holy hell, I guess I am worthy, then perhaps you've not changed who you are. You've simply changed how you think about that one thing in your life. Are you with me on this? Like, how changing what you think is not necessarily changing who you are. Yes, it can. You can change who you are. And I hope you do many times over the course of your life. What I'm saying is that it does not require changing who you are for you to be worthy of love and friendship and compassion, right? Because what we think is not some sort of unassailable sacred concept. And back in 2018, August of 2018, I specifically wrote something titled, I don't believe everything you think, right? Becoming, and I'll put that, I'll actually put that link in the YouTube chat for those of you who are interested in maybe checking that out at some point. Becoming someone who receives tons of love and friendship and acceptance, even when you've not been that person before, is possible. I know this because I made the choice to make that change back in my mid-30s. And I examined those 4 aspects of me, and I changed them bit by bit over time as I received positive feedbacks and I saw positive results. Christine says, changing communication patterns, while difficult, has nothing to do with identity and everything to do with adapting to others. Brilliant point. And also said, those aha moments help us grow, but don't change our fundamental identity. Exactly. And just like you might be a different person at the golf course than you are at home with your kids, changing how you interact with people is not changing who you are. Okay. But back to myself, back to me. I did make this choice, and I made that change in my mid-30s. I examined those 4 aspects. I changed how I chose people. I changed how I approached people. I had changed how I communicated with people. And by doing a lot of that, I changed my habitual thinking patterns. And I learned and grew and became more of who I always wanted to be. Now, let me be clear. This was not an immediate thing. It took me 3 years or more before I really felt like I had made progress. and about 5 years before I felt like I might be as good as the average person. So now, after 13 years, no, 14 years, 15 years, a while, after a long time, over a decade, I'm thrilled I took the time, while still looking forward to continuing to improve my behaviors in my life. I am amazed at the results. Like, the difference is literally night and day. This is like, it's better than I ever dreamed of. And the thing that I really would like you to take away from this is that just because I have changed and grown, I'm not any more worthy of that love, friendship, and compassion now than I was then. I'm just better able to express that and show others so that they give that to me. And when I give that back to them, they feel it more. So, that's pretty much what I had to say. Is there anybody who has any comments or thoughts? Anybody on the Moan app who would like to come up and say hello or share something about yourself? I'd be happy to have you up. And I also have on FetLife, actually, I had posted this writing, and I'm happy to share some comments that I got from people when I originally posted it, because there are some truly amazing thoughts and ideas and suggestions that came about as a result of this posting. Somebody said to me, Rumi Please, said, it's an inner work thing. Even in everyday life, how others see you is an opinion. It's a fact to them, but it's not to you unless you want it to be. I wish I knew that sooner. Thank you always for your writings. Listen to that. That's amazing, right? It's a fact to them. How they experience you is a fact to them. But to you, it's just an opinion. If you have an off day, they might think you're a super jerk. But you know you're not a super jerk. You know you're just having an off day, right? So if somebody doesn't treat you like you're worthy of love and friendship and compassion, that's their opinion. You know that you are worthy, right? Siegel had said, yeah, this, you are not your thoughts, you are not your actions. You are an inexplicable combination of those two things interacting with each other and the outside input you received. Somehow I think that realizing that you are worthy is what makes it possible to detach your identity from your thought patterns and or actions. Growing is a form of changing. Changes to one or the other is not necessarily losing anything. And I thought that that was brilliantly said, and I want to re-quote part of that for emphasis. Somehow, I think that realizing that you are worthy is what makes it possible to detach your identity from your thought patterns and or actions. Holy hell. Realizing that you are worthy of love and friendship and compassion, even if you don't always feel it, knowing that you are, can allow you the room and the space and the safety that you need to make those changes for yourself in how you communicate and in your thought patterns, right? Cobalt says in the chat, if someone is arguing with me in their head, the me they are arguing with isn't real. And I completely agree, right? Because when somebody will argue with me and they'll say, oh, I didn't want to tell you this because I knew you'd be upset. And I'm like, well, I wasn't. I wouldn't have been upset, except that you kept it from me. And they'll say, well, now you're really upset. And I'm like, well, yes, now I am. See, I told you. Well, they're actually interacting in their head with a version of me and not with me. Cobalt goes on to say, but that's equally true if they're fantasizing about me. And that goes back to the I want to get to know you, right? Or the I want to fall at your feet and worship you, O goddess, O mistress. That's still not me that they're interacting with. They're not treating me with love and friendship and compassion. They're fantasizing about who they think I could be to them in their lives, usually to their benefit, right? Teak Rock and Roll, Nookie, I'm a big fan. I just want to say I appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for helping our community grow. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I also want to bring up a comment that was made on the original post that brings up some points that are in contention. And I think that this is a valuable conversation. So Nude Chris says, love? Who? He broke it off on December 1st, then she dies on January 15th. So perhaps you will tell me where all of these people or daughters are that you say love me. Friendship? Were you talking to me? Again, who? Where are all of these friends at? And where are all these kinksters on this site? Over 5 years here and still have no play partners, no relationships, or anything else on this site. Compassion? Very debatable. It will be very interesting hearing your response. And of course, I responded. I said, Nude Chris, I didn't say someone or anyone loved you. I said you are worthy of love. Those two things are not the same. And in the writing, I tried to answer why that could be. Same answer for friendship. Compassion, you can debate it all you want. I know what I know. And then I went on to point out that their behavior showed a very defensive personality type. And if that was usual for them, that is the sort of behavior that would make it hard for people to really connect with them. So they came back to me and they said that their defensiveness must be because they trust too much, giving the benefit of the doubt and getting fucked all the time. So they wanted to research how to change this. I said in my reply, the issue that you probably have, if I might say so, is not trusting too much. It's soft or non-existent boundaries. And for those of you who follow me, you know how much I love to talk about boundaries, right? And how important I think boundaries are to creating healthy relationships with humans. So, and this was back in February 2021 that I was talking about this. I said, with good boundaries, you can trust everyone because you are still well protected. Without them, you can distrust everyone and still get walked on. And I think, again, these things are important to keep in mind. You may not feel loved, right? Even if you are loved. You may not feel worthy, even if you are worthy. You may not feel like you really have friendship in your life right now, even if you do. Which is why I think that this is a critical point to make. You are worthy. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of friendship. You are worthy of compassion. And you are in control of and responsible for how you communicate that to the people around you. And that's what I mean when I said today I'm going to be super positive and I'm going to tell you positive things, but I'm not going to do it in a Pollyanna sort of way. Because while you are worthy, I'm not going to say that you just being worthy is going to get you anywhere. It's not. You have to be able to communicate that worthiness, that humanity, that self to people. And you have to find the right people to communicate it to. It's that simple. Are there any questions? Jared G says, you seem like you would be a hard woman to date. You know what? I'll agree with you. As I said earlier, most of the people in this world that I interact with are not compatible with me, right? Most people that you interact with in the world are not going to be compatible with you. And I wonder, when you say that I would be a hard woman to date, what do you mean? Do you mean that I'm going to require the people in my life to be authentic, to engage with me on a human level, to show compassion, and then also to realize that they are worthy of those things in return? Because if that's what you mean by a hard woman to date, you are so right. On the other hand, Cobalt just answered that for me. For those who fit with me, it comes naturally. And I think that if you have good boundaries, and if you know you are worthy of love and compassion and friendship, that you will also be, quote, hard to date, because you won't accept less than what you are worthy of. Jared responded, I mean, you're looking for a perfect person, LOL. So, Jared, I think it's important for you to know that I'm not actually looking at all. I already have partners in my life. I am full of love and friendship and amazing experiences and things to do and growth and kink and wonderful sex and all sorts of things. I'm not looking. So yeah, I would be very hard to date. That said, people have come into my life recently and I have found time to spend time with them and we enjoy each other. And a lot of people have come into my life and they're not compatible with me. And that's okay too. So Cobalt says, just lacking a puppy. Yeah, puppy fever is definitely a thing. Mistress K just shot me a note. Let's see. What did you say there? Some people see boundaries as obstacles to overcome. Oh, absolutely. Right? If you have good boundaries, some people are going to take that as a challenge. Whereas when I interact with people, I see good boundaries as something that gives those people the energy and the authenticity that they need to be attractive. Jared G, partners, question mark. Yes. So I'm guessing you're not familiar with me. Hi, I'm Nookie. I'm the founder of Dating Kinky. I am ethically non-monogamous and I have an amazing nesting partner and other partners in my life, many of whom have been around for years and years and years. And I couldn't be happier. So yeah. Cobalt says, you never know what you don't know until you find out. So I'm exploring boundaries with an understanding that there's areas where I'm lacking. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. Boundaries will grow and change as you grow and change. Teak rock and rolla. That's why he was saying all that nonsense. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a valid point. The thing is, from my perspective, is yeah, I am, for a lot of people, going to be a hard woman to date. And you know what? That's okay. I'm okay with that. I love who I am. I love the people in my life. And I want the people who are not compatible with me to find me a difficult woman. 100%. So, thanks so much to all of you who have joined me today. I really do appreciate it. I apologize for the technical challenges at the beginning, but I think I got it now. I think I figured out what I need to do in order to make this go more smoothly next time. For those of you who are not familiar with who we are and what we do, Dating Kinky is a kinky education and dating site. We provide anywhere between 12 and 16 free educationals per month. They are free to attend live, and they get recorded and put into our library for our Dating Kinky Plus members. We have over 400 presentations in there, and we add more every single week. And Jared says, I wasn't trying to be difficult. Just so you know, you can be as difficult as you want. I don't mind. I didn't see you as being difficult. I saw you as being somebody who wasn't quite sure where all of this was coming from, and maybe who was trying to understand it, because you were not being mean. You were being confused. You were asking questions, and I will always, always, always welcome that.